I'm starting to get so behind with these movies. It's already. Oh, and that's got to be changed. Uh, things that went on. Had a little speed bump on the road to Infinity Wars. I didn't have internet and cable for a couple of days, and then today we had a big snowstorm up here in the Northeast, and Verizon service actually went out, so couldn't really do anything on my phone. It was playing games, and it was brick paperweight pretty much. But we're back on track. I watched Thor: Dark World. There's a little gap from Avengers to, I don't even want to say the second Avengers, maybe the next movie, where like Iron Man 3 was cool with all the suits at the end, and Thor: Dark World, it's cool. They're not my favorite, so it took me like 3 days to watch this because I either kept falling asleep or had stuff to do or something else. But Thor: Dark World picks up. Where does it pick up at? Must she say 2 years or something? In the beginning, Jane Foster is on a date with a dude and doing all this stuff, and Thor hasn't been around and all this other stuff, and they find a what's her friend's name? Not Eric. I don't know what the chick's name is from. I can't even think of the show she's on. Two Broke Girls. She's on Two Broke Girls. I can't think of her name in the movie. I can't even think of her real name right now. They find an anomaly, so they go and. Oh, see, totally off track. I know I don't have a Thor shirt on. I do have a Team Cody shirt on. I don't want it to break up. You know, I don't need it to go this way and this way, but kind of am Team Cody. But that's off track. Let's get back on. I don't have a Thor shirt. I'm a poser. I know I have shirts with Thor on it. I think I wore it the last time. I don't believe I have another one. I do want a Thor costume shirt. I don't have it. I will eventually, I hope. Back on track. Let's go. So they find an anomaly. They go to it. They find these little kids. Where are they at? In Paris? I don't know. It doesn't matter. They find these little kids. They're not little kids. They're maybe young teenagers, 11, 12, 13, something like that. And they take them to where this one kid's like, watch this, throws a soda can down, disappears, and it comes through the sky, and then disappears again. Comes through the sky, disappears, doesn't come back. It kind of reminded me of the Portal games, because, you know, you could shoot one, and you could have stuff going through the game like that, which was really kind of cool. So they were trying to figure out how it went. Does Jane fall through it, or does she black out? Something happens, and then that's when the ether, which is kind of the surrounding thing in this movie, that's how the ether gets into her body, which the ether came from the Dark Elves way back in the day. I don't remember the whole story. Odin's father fought the Dark Elves. I don't know if he took control of the ether or took the ether. And the Dark Elves were trying to get it back. Malekith, who is cool in the movie. I do like his comic costume a little better, but it's all right. I like this one. It's cool. So she gets the ether in her. Somehow she gets back on Earth, and it's raining everywhere, but right around her. I don't know if it's because of the ether. I don't know if it's because Thor's coming. But Thor comes. She runs up to him. Smack in the face. She said, "That's for leaving me." Smack in the face. I had to make sure it was really you. That's for not coming back for like 2 years or something, which I'm guessing. Yeah, because, well, actually, because the first one was for thanks for leaving me, not coming back in 2 years. And the second one was for you were in New York and all this other stuff with Avengers. So, yeah. He comes down because he's talking to Heimdall, and Heimdall can't see her because Heimdall can see everything because people think he has a stone in him, which I kind of think he does too. He could see everything, but he can't sense her, so that's why Thor goes to Earth, and he's like, "Are you okay?" Heimdall couldn't see you, and something happens to her. She passes out, and the ether pushes everything away from her that was around her. So she actually goes to Asgard, which is really cool. The first human, I would imagine, to go to Asgard. Um, they try and keep her there. Malekith senses that it's on Asgard, and this is kind of weird. The holy place, I don't know if it's a holy place, but this place, Asgard, with all these lords and gods and everything else, you would think would be hard to get to. The first movie, I know Loki brought them in, but the ice giants came in. The first one destroyed it. This one now, the dark elves somehow come in. Their ship was invisible, and it comes in. I don't know how Heimdall didn't sense it till right near the end. A little spoiler, but the third one, I guess she's technically from there, but the third one, he gets attacked as well. That's way down the line. What was I going to say? So the Dark Elves come because they sense the ether is in Asgard. Thor's mother takes Jane to go hide, and she's like, you got to do exactly what I do. Everybody's fighting off the Dark Elves. Malekith and what's the big... I'm going to call it a bruiser. That's not what it's called. I really got to start like watching this in one day and then recording this right after. Or at least writing down stuff. We'll just call him a bruiser. I don't remember what it is. I don't even remember how it happens. Because it's a normal elf, but then they do something to him and he becomes this big bulky thing. They come and they're looking for the ether. Malekith is holding Thor's mother. And they just have she has a projection up of Jane in the corner, and he goes to grab her, and he realizes it's the projection. So that's when he goes to kill Thor's mother as Thor walks in the building. Which, I mean, if you're anybody, well, if you see mom get killed like that, you would go crazy. So you see Thor shoot out a lightning bolt, scorching Malekith's side of his face. Which is kind of cool because in the comics he does have, I think it's like blue and white or blue and black. He's got two different color faces in the comics. They get away. He's throwing Mjolnir. They disappear, so it just comes back to him. They send off Thor's mother in a really cool like Viking funeral ceremony because it's on the water around Asgard. They shoot the flaming arrow in it, so it catches on fire, and then as soon as it hits where the water ends, Odin smacks down his staff, and her body pretty much goes into like stars, and then it goes up into the sky, which is really cool. Somebody goes and tells Loki. They don't really say it, or you don't hear the guy tell Loki, but you know what's happening. So Loki goes crazy because it was his mom too. I know it wasn't technically his mom, but he did go nuts about it. They are trying to... What happens? Thor does some kind of plan to get Jane off of Asgard, but I don't remember where they were trying to go. I think they were trying to go to the Dark Elves' homeworld. But Heimdall, or Odin wouldn't let them go through Heimdall, so they had to find another way. And Thor knows that Loki is the only other one that knows the way out. So he breaks Loki out of prison. And this is probably the funniest part of the movie. So they're walking down, and Thor's like, you should hide, you should do this, we shouldn't be out in the open. So every time they pass a pillar, it changes. And one is, Loki's still Loki, but he changes Thor into Lady Sif. The next one is Loki changes into Captain America, which that one's hysterical. He's like, oh, I like this. This is. I feel very heroic, and it's so funny. I think they do another one, or there's a first one, and then it's Cap, and then after that, Lady Sif. I don't know. I think there's 3 different ones, but it doesn't matter. So Loki, Thor's little. I want to call it like Thor's squad. I know it's Lady Sif. I know the Asian guy is like Woon or something, and then there's the big tall dude, and the I'm going to call the one guy Thor, Born, because he reminds me of the guy from Overwatch, because he's kind of short and he's got the beard and he kind of does look like a little short, like gnome. So they're part of the plan to get Jane and Thor and Loki out. And every time they hit a certain spot, when one of them is there to help, they stop Loki and they're like, if you cross your brother, I'll kill you. The next spot, if you cross your brother, I'll kill you. The next spot, if you cross your brother, I'll kill you. And Loki's like, well, you're gonna have to get in line because everybody else told me it too. They get to a Dark Elves ship, fly off, transfer, because they're being chased, so they jump out of that into like a little airboat type deal thing, to where Loki goes through his little secret portal. They end up on, I guess it's the Dark Elves homeworld, and you see Loki betray Thor. He stabs Thor and pushes him down a hill, and they roll down a hill. He goes to grab Mjolnir, and Loki slices his hand off, and you could see like the bone and the blood vessels and stuff. So Loki sacrifices Jane to Malekith. Malekith picks her up, and the ether comes out. And that's when you hear say Thor. That's when you hear Thor say Loki now, and his hand comes back, and everything's fine with him because it was just an illusion. He grabs Mjolnir and he shoots it at the ether. I don't know. Trying to like destroy it, but it doesn't work. It goes into Malekith. Loki dies. You hear, I'm gonna skip a little bit because it's just then it gets kind of dumb. You hear the little music of when Loki changes into somebody, and you're seeing Asgardian guard stand up and walk back to a ship because they knew of the fight there, and it's that same guard that goes to Odin, says we didn't find Malekith, we didn't find Jane, we didn't find Thor, but Loki was there. Loki's dead now, and you see Odin's distraught about it. They get back to Earth. It's just, it's the same third act. They're fighting Malekith, all this other stuff. They're waiting for the 9 realms to all line up because that's when the ether's at its strongest, I guess. Of course, it doesn't work. Thor wins it. They get back to ether. They destroy the Dark Elves. Does Malekith die, or do they capture Malekith? I don't know. He might be destroyed. He was an alright villain. What happens? They get the ether. They take care of the ether. Thor goes back to Asgard. He's talking to Odin. Odin's like, I know Loki's dead. We know this. We know that. I want you to be on the throne. Thor says, I'll defend Asgard, but I can't do it from the throne. Odin's like, my one son was craving for the throne. My other son doesn't want the throne. Am I a bad father? And all this other stuff. And Thor's just like, no. He's like, I'll protect Asgard with all my heart, but I can't protect it from the throne. Thor walks out. Odin changes into Loki, and he's like, thank you, brother, and sits back down on the throne. So everybody's wondering what happens to Odin. Nobody really knows until Ragnarok. That's pretty much the end of the movie. The first after credits scene is, I think it was on Heimdall, not Heimdall. I think it was on Jotunheim. I think that's the name of the ice giant planet, where one of them goes through one of the portals from earlier on in the movie, and he's on Earth, and he's chasing the birds around on Earth. Then the next one is Lady Sif, and once again, I don't remember his name, Torbjorn. That's kind of funny. This is the first time when you see stuff from Guardians, and I didn't remember it, and seeing this kind of shocked me. But they're in the collector's facility, building, museum, whatever you want to call it. And they're like, here, we need to keep the ether here. And the collector says, why would you keep it here when it's safer on your world, Asgard? And they said, we already have the Tesseract hidden away. We don't want 2 Infinity Stones. in Asgard, and the Collector says, "You're right. It's better here." They leave, and he's like, 1 down, 5 to go, and I was like, I totally forgot that it started. That's right there is where the Infinity Stones were mentioned. Thor: Dark World. Like, I totally forgot that part. But yeah. So I mean, it's a good movie. This is what really bothers me. There's only a handful. Every Marvel movie I have has a slipcover, but this one doesn't, and it really, really irks me. It's like, I don't have OCD, but like that's part of my OCD, but that's got nothing to do with this. Yeah, it's a really good movie. I really do enjoy it. The next one, oh, I can't wait for the next one. The next one's probably in my top 5 favorites. Everyone called it like a political thriller, and I never understood what that meant until I like read an explanation of it and then watched the next movie again, and it's probably in the top 5. But we'll get to that. Should have been today. I don't know when we'll get to it. Oh, that reminds me. Thank you, Marvel. Well, thank you, and damn you, Marvel. So they moved up Infinity War a week early. So I don't know if that's going to mess everything up for watching a movie every week. I might have to watch 2 in a week or 3 in a week. I'm behind anyways. I mean, today should have been the next movie, and I'm doing this movie. So I'm behind either way. I'm always behind 8 ball in this damn thing. But I love it though. This Highway to the Infinity War is just amazing. Where I want to say, let me think. Maybe like a quarter of the way through or something. I don't know. I could kind of see the end, but not really. But it was just, when I heard that yesterday or today, I was like, awesome. It's a week earlier. But I'm like, damn, I got to get more reviews out sooner. But yeah, that's it for Thor: Dark World. So I'll see you probably in a couple days for the next one. I haven't seen Black Panther yet. It's been like 3 weeks since it's been out. And I hate myself for not seeing it. I'm going to try, hopefully to see it soon. I'm going to try. But until whenever I see you guys next, too sweet me, I'm out.